Hello, everybody. Today is the 41st day of the Ukraine war. Russia's withdrawal with the Kiev region is definitely very good news for Ukraine. However, Russia is going to redeploy its troops to eastern Ukraine. And it seems Russia's strategy is to cut Ukraine in half. It probably want to take Dnipro. So this is the new phase for the war, and it's going to last long. Now I'm going to do analysis from three perspectives: weapon, manpower, tactics. There's no doubt that Russia has more and better weapons than Ukraine. But the weapons from US and its allies sent to Ukraine also played a very important role in this war. It greatly narrowed the bridge between these two parties. About manpower, Russia has the third largest armed forces in the world. In the beginning of the war, Ukrainian army was outnumbered. That's not because Russia has a very large army. Actually, Russia's military is about 1 million persons, but its army is only 280,000. So Russia has almost used all its military manpower it can use in this war. In the beginning, because it took time for Ukrainian army to deploy, so at that time, Ukrainian army was outnumbered. But later, because Ukraine mobilized its population, actually, the Russian army was outnumbered. And about the tactics, why Russia failed its initial plan, why Russia couldn't take Kiev and suffered such high losses. It's very largely due to the Russia's tactics, its command system. The command system is a Russian style, is top down. So the rank and file, the soldiers have very little flexibility, very little room for maneuver. And this is why we see so many Russian generals killed in this battlefield, because they have to go to the front line to directly give orders. On the contrary, since 2014, the Ukrainian army underwent a very deep structural reform. Just they were trained by the US and its allies. So the US just told the Ukraine this kind of more flexible command system. That means the non-commissioned officers, NCOs, as the core of the command system, the rank and file soldier, because they know the real situation in this battlefield. Of course, Russians will also be learning from their failures, but they will take time to reform their command system, even they are willing to do so. Another factor to consider is about the reservists. As I said, Ukraine has mobilized its population, so it has a bigger reservation army. But this army is poorly trained and poorly equipped. They can be very useful in the defense of cities. They can take part in guerrilla warfare, but on an open battlefield or on the offensive campaigns, their use will be very limited. We see Russia is a much bigger country with a bigger population. So why doesn't Russia mobilize its population, send conscripts to the battlefield like Ukraine does? Because they don't want too many Russian soldiers to get killed in the battlefield. That will cause some instability in homeland. And it's just because of this, it's very difficult for Russia to achieve strategic breakthrough, because on the one hand, their tactics are inferior. Their weapons are better, but not much better, and their morales are low, and they are not willing to mobilize. So it's very difficult for Russia to achieve strategic breakthrough. Having said that, this is also true for the Ukrainians. Although Ukrainians, their morals are high and they are very clear what they are fighting for, but they lack heavy offensive weapons, and their reservists are not very useful in offensive campaigns. So I think probably this war will go to some stalemate, like those in Korea or in Cyprus. How about the outlook, the development of this war? I think Russia won't try to take Odesa for the time being, because that will be a daunting task for them. Odesa is the third largest city in Ukraine. Strategically, it's the most important city, only after Kiev. It's very difficult to take, especially if you launch an amphibian assault. I think Russia won't do that. Actually, Russians don't need to take Odesa to hurt Ukraine's economy. They can just prevent Odesa from doing its import and export business. That's quite a blow to Ukraine's economy. By the way, also Russia has failed its initial plan. Actually, it's achieved something, the minimum of this campaign. The minimum is just to link up Crimea to Donbas region. So I think Russia's plan is just to expand its territory around the Donbas region. And that's its current plan. It seems is like this. But as I said, it's also very difficult for them. If it's difficult for them to encircle Kiev, it won't be easy for them to just split Ukraine in half, because Ukraine can also deploy its troops from west to east. That's my thoughts on this matter.
up to now. Thanks for watching.